Mets. Rick DiPietro joins us from Hahn and Humpty, of course, heard right here on 104.5 The Team before us. We've been hashing out this Knicks team. Pretty interesting game last night. They lose to the Thunder, but they took them to the wire. Do you think this is a playoff team?
Is this a playoff team? No, I don't. I understand what Arron Afflalo was saying, because as a leader on that team, that's the message you want these young guys to hear. And I think a lot of times, if you're a veteran leader, you echo the sentiments of your coach. And I think what Derek Fisher said last night, he said the result wasn't perfect, but the effort was perfect. That's how hard this Knicks team has to play, especially with Carmelo Anthony out of the lineup, to compete. And let's not forget the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's a really good team. Again, it's not the Golden State Warriors, so it makes you look at the Knicks team and realize that they're still a ways away. But you like the direction that they're moving in.
I am not a fan of the last shot in regulation taken by Arron Afflalo. Should he have been taking that shot, or should we have been looking at an organized play that could have gotten KP the ball?
Well, when you don't have your closer in the game, and you saw it with Kevin Durant, fourth quarter, overtime, 20 points, he finds a way to get it done, and that's why they ultimately win the game. As soon as that shot popped out of the basket, you're like, all right, as a Knicks fan, this game's probably over. But me personally, this is where I was torn, because I want to see the Knicks win, and I want to see them make the playoffs, but I also want to see KP develop. And he's going to be the guy in the next couple of years that's going to be leaned on to take those game-winning shots. So I'd like to see him get some opportunities, but you saw during the last couple minutes of that game, the Knicks had 9.5 minutes left. They have an 11-point lead. 8 minutes left. They have a 10-point lead. Late in that game, 4-point lead. You don't have closers out there. You got to have guys that want the ball. You saw in that Langston Galloway three-pointer that it was almost a hot potato shot. So I think Arron Afflalo, as a leader, wanted that opportunity, and unfortunately, he didn't get the job done.
Is that going to be the ultimate demise of this team? They can't close?
You know what it is? They need a point guard. They really do. That was a fun game to watch. You saw when the Knicks push the pace, get some easy buckets. It's a fun style of basketball. There's a couple opportunities there in that game, and I think you see it, regularly in a lot of their games. Kristaps Porzingis, outside of his athletic ability and his talent, saw a play yesterday where he pulls Adams up to the top of the key and then backdoor cuts to the basket, and he's wide open for an alley-oop, and the point guard doesn't see him. So there isn't necessarily a quarterback of the team that you really need to be a playoff team. I think the effort's always there, but the results aren't. They're very inconsistent. I just think the demise of this team is if they don't address the point guard, and you got a lot of young players, that may be the demise of this team. But I think with a healthy Carmelo Anthony, it's gonna be a dogfight down the end, and I think they'll be in it.
One half of Hahn and Humpty, which can be heard here every weekday 1 to 3 on 104.5 The Team. Rick DiPietro, of course, a great follow at HDumpty39. The Mets, they get Yoenis Cespedes. I've heard the Mets taking a little bit of heat from your show. Is this enough? Are you happy with what they've done this offseason with bringing back Yo?
I am. I'm happy because I think as far as your lineup is concerned, a lot of people wanted to argue that this Mets team, as constituted before you re-signed Cespedes, was better than the team that left Port St. Lucie before the season. Well, that wasn't a very good team. Once you got Cespedes, once you picked up Uribe, Kelly Johnson, now all of a sudden you scored some runs. It makes life a lot easier on your stud pitching staff. You can't just count on the fact that your pitcher is going to keep you into it. You're going to keep you into in the mix until the trade deadline again, and all of a sudden you're going to find a bat. I mean, Cespedes gave you 17 home runs last year, 44 RBIs, so he is definitely someone that's going to take a lot of pressure off Conforto, going to give you the opportunity now to put Lagares on the bench, and now you have depth. And last year, once they got that depth, Terry Collins as a manager could say, listen, fellas, if you're not getting the job done, if you're not hitting, you're going to sit down. So question mark for me still is David Wright. I don't know how many games or the production he's going to give you. And can Lucas Duda get off the roller coaster? Can he be consistent? That's another one. And Darno. Is Darno done all he can to improve and maybe throw a couple runners out and help out this Mets pitching staff?
Cespedes turns down the Nationals. Now we hear he turned down a 5-year deal from the Orioles as well. Are the Mets now a destination team for these free agents?
Well, I think if you're smart, you see the pitching staff they have, you know you're going to contend. You know, they're actually having this conversation on the K Show today about, free agents wanting to play in New York. And it's not easy to play in New York when you lose, but when you win, there's a lot of benefit, especially in baseball. It's kind of turned into a regional sport more than a national sport. I think Cespedes did the right thing. He likes New York. if he leaves New York now, all of a sudden that's his fifth team in 18 months, has some stability. And again, for $27.5 million, you go and have another year, and maybe he gets the World Series and rather than being he wasn't very good in that World Series, maybe he's the difference and they win a World Series, he's going to have a 5 or 6 year offer after the season is over.
Humpty, your nails without Hahn bothering you?
No, I know. Listen, ice cold. He's on his phone right now tweeting like a little 12-year-old girl, but that's what he likes to do on car rides. What can I do?
Your Islanders finished the month 4-4-1, third place in the Metro. As the break arrives, what's your biggest concern about the Islanders?
Well, my biggest concern is they're not playing with the kind of desperation and urgency I think they need to play with. And now all of a sudden you see Pittsburgh with that win over the Devils. They're right in your rearview mirror. So you haven't created enough separation where you can coast here. And we all know stretch run of an NHL season, it's tough to get points. I just think it's unfair to John Tavares to make him have to be the guy every single night. I think Brock Nelson has done a good job of picking up the slack, but you still need to see more from Strome. 50 points last season, kind of been a bit of a letdown. Anders Lee, I thought would be better. You're going to need guys to step up. I think when Boychuk comes back, that'll be nice. But they definitely need to raise the level of desperation and urgency if they're going to get in the playoffs and get out of the first round.
Humpty, we're trying to fix the Pro Bowl because no one wants to play in it, and everyone keeps telling us, hey, bring back the skills competition. Well, you have a negative experience getting injured in a skills competition, so what is your thoughts on that?
I love the skills competition, man. I think that's what you want. You want to see the entertainment. You want to see the athletic ability. I think, what is it now, 135 guys have been named to the Pro Bowl. So, listen, if a free trip to Hawaii isn't enough, I don't know what they could possibly do. For me, I love the All-Star game. If they asked me to go more, I would have went. I thought it was a huge honor. But, football, it's a physical sport. You're banged up. 17 weeks is a long time. And throw preseason and everything else into that. I can understand guys wanting a break, but, I'll watch it just because I'm a junkie, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are a little turned off now with all the guys that have decided not to go.
Rick DiPietro of Hahn and Humpty joins us on 104.5 The Team. So we get this email and this odd tweet from our former intern, Arron. We call him Arron. We heard he stalked you and made you take a picture with him.
He did, but I like it. Anyone named Arron, I'm more than happy to take a picture with, but that's what you guys do up there, man. You stalk a little bit, you maybe jump through a burning table and light yourselves on fire, but that's what makes you guys you.
We got to do what it takes to be, exciting. It's cold up here. It gets boring.
Listen, I knew we were in trouble as Jets fans in that last game of the season against Buffalo when I saw the amount of passion from the Buffalo Bills fans, and it carried right over into the game. That's why Rex Ryan, really, let's be honest, is the perfect fit for that team.
I love it. One half of Hahn and Humpty, Rick DiPietro, thank you for giving us your time today, and just keep kicking some New York sports butt for us, man.
Thanks, fellas.